We've just witnessed the last race before the summer break. And what did we learn? Almost too much. Like, Aston Martin are slowly cooking, McLaren have a clear favourite in who they want to win the Drivers' Championship, and I guess we all knew this one, but Ferrari have no fucking clue. It's a lot to break down, but that's where I come in. This is Formula Party, and let's talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix. We start here in qualifying. Q1 came with a lot of surprises. Tsunoda was out, Hulkenberg was out, and even the Williams of Albon. But the biggest surprise, even though it was an Alpine that was out, it wasn't Q1 resident Colapinto. It was Gasly this time. He failed to make it out, and I think Alpine's probably taken its toll on him. If we're being completely realistic as well, Tsunoda being out this early, this often, isn't acceptable, but more on that later. Hulkenberg's another one who's not quite coming to grips with the speed of that car because his qualifying form so far this half season has been quite shocking. He's not made it to Q3 once, and he barely ever makes it to Q2. Where on the other hand, Bortoleto is really wringing the neck of that car and can manage to get it to Q3 when it's available. Q2 came with less surprises, but they were bombshells. Fortunately for us, bombshells we've seen before. Hamilton and Antonelli failing to make it out of Q2 again. I'm just running out of words for what to say about Hamilton, but again, more on that later. Well done to Colapinto as well, who's now matched Jack Doohan's Q2 appearances, albeit in more races and a much better car. He's there nonetheless, and I hope he builds on this. But that still doesn't excuse Alpine's shocking decision making so far this season, like most seasons. Behrman deserves a special mention as well. He makes it out of Q1 more often than not, and he's really giving Esteban Ocon a run for his money. Q3 felt something like a movie. It was Charles Leclerc who surprisingly put it on pole by just over 200ths. It was a surprise to everyone, even to me. Piastri, Norris, Russell made up the rest of the top four, which was no surprise. Everything below that, an absolute shot. If you're wondering why I haven't said Max Verstappen's name yet, he ate his worst qualifying of the season, although he was only 3.5 tenths off. Liam Lawson and Hadjar are 9 and 10, again being consistent in that racing balls, which is really not a problem and is a good car to drive, and those drivers are getting the most out of it. 5, 6, and 7 was such a surprise. Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Bortoleto has been absolutely fantastic towards the second half of the season so far. He's got the best out of the car and got some strong points finishes. Alonso and Stroll's performance show that the Aston Martin is about to get better, and it's looking good for them. Once Newey starts getting some input into that car, they'll be even better. But that's something for next year. If you know the Hungarian Grand Prix, it's a race that threatens to entertain. And by that I mean, it probably won't. Looking at the track layout, opportunities to overtake are few and far between. Even with that massive start finish straight, it takes either a clear advantage, strong DRS, good positioning, or a massive effort, a brave effort to get past. From the start of the race, as a Ferrari fan, it went as bad as possible. I know you're wondering why I say that, but I say that because they gave us hope. They let us dream, only to rip it away halfway through the race and have Charles Leclerc fall away into the abyss, where he's been mentally for probably, well, quite a long time to be fair, since the start of his Ferrari career. The rest of the race didn't give us much, but simultaneously, it taught us a lot. The main thing it taught us is that Lando is always going to be the priority at McLaren. Now, I know I'll take a lot of stick off of Lando fans saying that he gets priority and all this rubbish when it's not really true, but Piastri, even though he gets strategy priority when he's first, he doesn't get the best strategy. He just gets to box first. Whereas Lando is allowed to entertain the one stop and have the best possible chance of winning the race from wherever he is on the track, even though he bottles turn one, lap one, every chance he gets. If Piastri even got 60% of the effort that Lando gets in terms of optimizing their race, he'd be so far ahead in this championship, he might even have it wrapped up and Lando beaten to a pulp against an almost impossible situation, but it just hasn't fallen that way. As I said though, there wasn't much on offer in terms of racing. To look at it all, Alpine fell to the bottom, as Alpine would, not counting Behrman. Sonoda again put in another shocking performance. and Leclerc sobbed his way to the finish line, as you would in a Ferrari, it seems. Looking back at how this Grand Prix turned out, and considering we're now in the summer break, here's a few home truths that are staring us in the face. Number one may come as a surprise to you, but I can't scream it enough. Alpine need Christian Horner, and they need him now. The amount of a joke that team is truly pathetic. They're not doing it for anything. Who knows why they're doing it, but they just drive around in circles for a few laps every weekend or every other weekend, and then they go home and they're happy. But that team is a joke. That structure is a joke. And to have someone like David Sanchez on board, get Christian Horner in on top of him, managing him, and allowing him to run free and make changes he needs to make, and that team could really turn into something. But they need Horner now. Lesson number two will come as a surprise to absolutely fucking no one. And that is the fact that Ferrari are light years away from a championship challenge. The fact they even got close was an accident last year, clearly on the looks of things. But they're just not ready. I doubt they're going to be ready. It's going to take a miracle for them to be ready, even in 2026. It all went wrong, and we should have known this from the moment that Fred uttered those words that they've changed a championship competing car by 95%. And I'm not saying that's Fred's fault, but whatever it is, the hierarchy, the structure, whoever's calling the shots at Ferrari, it needs to be sorted out. They need to go, they need to reassess and sort it out because they're nowhere near a championship as it stands, and it's not going to get any better. Lesson 3 will also come as no shock. Papaya rules really means make sure Lando wins at all costs, and it can't be denied any longer. The fact that the Hungary 2024 situation repeated itself in 2025 is undeniable. As much as you try to deny it, McLaren really want Lando to win the Drivers' Championship, and there's also a tone of resignation in Oscar's voice when this kind of shit just happens and happens, and the race is given away from his grasp. The next thing, and I really don't want to say this, because you should never count him out, but I think Lewis Hamilton's too big for the sport. He's got so much going on. He's such a big global superstar, it's hard to be focused primarily on F1. He's already doing his thing with his 0% tequila thing, all his Mission 44 stuff, and whatever smoke's coming on the 8th of August. But there's drivers like Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri who live and breathe F1, who live and breathe racing, and that's it. And they're focused on doing the best, maximizing the performance every week. And I just don't think Lewis does that anymore. And that's fair enough because he's competed a lot, he's won it all. He's chasing a record that he may or may never get. I really want him to get it, but looking at all the circumstances and factoring in everything that's going on, is he too big for the sport? Let me know in the comments below. The last one, now someone needs to say it, but Yuki Tsunoda needs to go. Realistically, he's now fighting for his future in F1, because at the start of the season, any team would have been glad to take him if they had the seat, and with the amount of sponsorship money and Honda backing he brings. But if you look at the facts, no real signs of improvement from someone who's a seasoned pro in this sport. And considering Lawson was only given 2 races, it's not good enough. He needs to be replaced. That's been the truth about the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or not. This has been Formula Party. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you before the end of the summer break. Don't you worry.